Hi everyone, welcome to day 23 of our 90-day challenge. Um, I, the days don't really matter to you, they matter to me though, because I'm trying to do this every day for the 90 days. And I have this agenda and I have this plan, and then weekends happen and I don't have anything prepared. And it's funny because a month ago I talked about being prepared, and I have all these goals, and I just 24 hours in a day is just not enough. Anybody else feel that way? Hands up. Yeah, 24 hours in a day is just not enough. However, this is what I'm going to focus on today, is how we fill those same 24 hours, because we all get the same 24 hours. So what are we doing with them? This week, just to kind of touch on what we're going to talk about all week, I want to kind of go back a little bit more into my story. Later on this week, I'm going to talk about Maslow's, sorry, I'm moving my camera, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow's pyramid. You may have seen it and heard it. I'll add some graphics to my Facebook page, and if you're in my group, in my group, so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about, because it's a very visual thing. But ultimately, when we're happy, when we're well, when we're successful, when we're full, when we're enlightened, like when life is just going swimmingly, we're at the top of this pyramid, and we've ultimately worked our way up to the top of this pyramid. At the very bottom being basic needs. And for most people who just have a linear life, or one with, just a few ups and downs and lessons learned, and, maybe a job lost or a home lost or a partnership dissolved or whatever, we kind of go through these little blips. But most of us stay in the middle of that pyramid and kind of jump up and down depending on where we are in our life. Very few of us, thank goodness, drop to the bottom of this pyramid. Outside of childhood, the very bottom of this pyramid is basic needs: safety, security, food, shelter, just basic. And safety and security are actually even up a level, but basic. This is what I need to live, just to be alive. These are the things I need. I need food, I need water, I need something to protect me from the wild animals that can come and get me at night. Basic needs. So it's been almost a year since my last big trauma that I talk about as part of this story, as part of this rebuilding Stella, rebuilding my world, rebuilding my professional life, rebuilding my home, rebuilding my community. It's been almost a year. It's been a year since I knew my life was in crisis. And if I'm honest, probably before then, but I don't think I really recognized it until about a year ago. And then it was still another month and a half or so before everything just imploded and shattered around me. I can't believe it's been that long. And I also, for those of you who are just now in that space, and just now kind of at the bottom of this pyramid where you're only meeting your basic needs, I can tell you it's been a long year. But I've also gone through so much growth, emotional, physical, so much growth, and you can too. So no matter how loud the quietest moments are, no matter how empty things feel right now, continue to live in this space where your vulnerabilities are part of who you are right now, and embrace them as part of you, and not a weakness that defines you, but something that you can live through and become whatever you're meant to become. I'm not there yet. I'm still healing. I'm still going through this process. But as we go into our week together in this next week of our 90-day challenge, I'm going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. His pyramid of needs. A little more than a year ago, when all of this happened in my world, I found myself at the very bottom of that pyramid. I don't want to make it sound worse than it was. I never lost the roof over my head. I never lost my home. There are definitely people who are worse off in this world, and certainly even in my own community. Living in a cardboard box or living in my car was never on the table. So I don't want to make it sound worse than it was. I did question whether or not I could keep my home. I did question whether or not I had to sell my home and uproot my children and their lives. And, but that's also not the end of the world if someone has to do that. If we have the ability to do that, we don't lose everything. But I did, and very careful in this space of comparison and keeping things in perspective. Somebody else's larger problems don't make my problems any less large in my world. And I think it's really important for everyone to hear that. So say that to yourself. Yes, there are starving people in this world, but it doesn't make you any less hungry when you're hungry. Okay. So at the very bottom of this pyramid for me was, I had to teach myself how to eat again. I dropped 30 pounds almost overnight. I had friends calling me daily, asking me to weigh in. I was losing 2 or 3 pounds a day consecutively for weeks. And it eventually evened off, and I started burning muscle. There were some dangerous moments in my physical health. I had to stop running because I was just burning muscle. I wasn't burning fat. I had no calories and no energy to burn. So I was literally just burning whatever muscle my body had left. And I used to tell my friends who were very worried about me, like, when things even out in my emotional world and my financial world and my physical world, I'll probably gain 10 pounds like nothing. So I'm okay right now. I'm okay. But there were some dangerously low moments. And there were days and days and days that I just didn't eat. So I was at that bottom tier of that pyramid where I had to come back to basic self-care, basic needs, and figure out how to just wake up every day and care for my body and my mind and my spirit. And so that brings me to something else, because now, almost a year later, I'm back to running. Actually, caveat, I'm not. I haven't run in 3 weeks because I had a minor back injury, and I kept running through it, and running actually made it worse. Surprise. But I am at the gym, and I'm doing the elliptical, and I'm doing yoga, and I'm doing weight training, and I'm strengthening my back again and my core. And oddly enough, I think on Friday of last week, I got up to go for my run. It was just perfect. It was just a great morning. I just woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and was just like, I'm going to go for a run. This is going to be great. It's going to be beautiful. And I put on my running clothes to run outdoors where, it's winter. It's January right now. Winter in Arizona, not very cold, but still in the low to mid 30s or that early in the morning. Perfect running weather, honestly. But I stepped outside and I was like, maybe I don't do that. Maybe I go to the gym. And I went to the gym and did the elliptical and some weights and a massage, which is really great for my back. But anyway, so that brings me to this. I have definitely placed physical self-care at the top of the list. And so my dog's coming to say hello. Say hi, babies. I have, thank you, hi. I have put physical self-care on the top of the list. So I've talked about taking care of your physical body, and that also helps to take care of your mental body. So, exercise, yoga, walking, getting outside, enjoying the sunshine, challenging your body. Our bodies can always go further than our minds think they can. And it's interesting because I got up to go for this run on Friday, ended up going to the gym and doing the elliptical. And then Saturday, I had a great workout at the gym with my girlfriend who's an athlete. So, who doesn't like to train next to an athlete? And then Sunday, I was like, okay, let's keep this momentum going. My goal is to get back to the streets and run because that's what I love. So let's go to the gym. And we had a motorcycle ride planned on Sunday. And I asked her before we went to bed on Saturday night, I was like, so do you want to get up early? Do you want to get up at like 5 on a Sunday morning to go to the gym? Or do we want to just see how we feel when we get back from the ride? Do you want to play it by ear? We can go tomorrow night. You know, I'm all eager, and I'm like, physical health. Let's go to the gym. Let's go work out. Let's get on the elliptical. And we kind of came to this consensus that we would just decide. Like, so after this ride, we'll just decide. And, you know, okay, that's cool. So we go on this 200-mile plus, it was a little bit over 200 miles, ride with a fantastic group of riders. And we make our first stop, and it's at this historical site here in Arizona, out in the desert in the middle of nowhere. It's a bridge, bridge over a dam. I don't know. Anyway, interestingly enough, I found out last night when I Googled it that there were petroglyphs there. So I was like, we got to go back because there's like ancient stuff there. It's not just an old bridge that looked really cool. There's ancient stuff there. And the petroglyphs around this area are really cool. They're like thousands of years old, or 1,000 years old, I should say. Anyway, so we do that and we go have lunch and just this group of people. I don't know. I think I heard there were 40 bikes in our group. I don't know if I counted. But we have lunch with this incredible group of people, and then we ride home, and we're gone for a large part of the day, 200 miles on a motorcycle. And it was beautiful. And so I don't ride myself. It's funny because it's something that I've grown up around. My grandfather, my father, my uncles, my cousins, my sister, anybody I've ever been with, everybody in my world is a rider. And it's just, I don't know, I have some anxieties and some fears, and so I've just never taken that leap, which is interesting because my sister told me years ago, she's like, oh, just do the class and you'll be fine and you'll love it. And it's, you talk about this mental health journey, wind therapy is the best thing ever. Anyway, as a passenger on the back of my girlfriend's bike, I have really no worries. I have no control, which is somebody with high anxiety is kind of tough for me to get over. But I will say this about her. She's an incredible leader in these communities. And so her skill is amazing. I feel really safe and relaxed, which is really kind of new for me. But I let my mind wander. Like I'm not always looking ahead at everything. I'm noticing the scenery. I'm noticing things. I'm feeling the wind. It's amazing. So one of the things I started thinking about was, at first I kind of started with, are we going to go to the gym? Like I'm just riding, it's quiet and it's loud at the same time. And my mind is wandering. Are we going to go to the gym later? And what will I work on? And what is today? Yesterday was an arm day. So what does that make today? And, what is it going to take for me to get back to running? Is my back okay? I'm going through this stuff. And then it really kind of hit me as I'm watching. I don't know if those of you who have devices that you wear on your wrists, smartwatches, whatever, that track your physical movement, your motions, your exercises. My goal is every day I got to close these rings. Why am I closing these rings sitting on the back of a bike for 200 miles? So I'm not standing, I'm not working out, I'm not burning calories, I'm not doing anything. And then it kind of hit me in one of these quiet moments with myself inside this helmet. Why am I only worried about closing these rings? Why am I only worried about the physical? I mean, this is a tracker for physical activity, right? I mean, it's a time teller, it's a text, it's all kinds of things. But it doesn't track, although for those of you with Apple Watches, there is a breathe notification on here, and there is a mindful, almost meditation notification on here, so it will remind you to take a moment and potentially meditate. But a moment and 10 good minutes of quality meditation are completely different. And I started thinking, I should be tracking as well as my physical health, not replacing it, but on top of my physical activities, I should be tracking these things that fill my soul and that are good for my mind and my heart and my healing. And there's nothing quite like being on the back of a bike, or if you ride yourself, riding, or even a bicycle or a walk or your car. It doesn't have to be a motorcycle, anything where you can just kind of disconnect and not have any responsibility. So there's something to be said about a staycation, right? So you go to a local hotel and maybe you work, or maybe you leave work at home and you just completely disconnect. We just did one just a few weeks ago. And the cool thing about a staycation is there are no dishes, there's no laundry, there's no, I have nothing to do, so I should vacuum the floors. There's no, if you choose not to work, although some people do staycations to get out of the home and family responsibility and go work where it's just peace and quiet because they've got this project. Or I know us writers do that a lot, where if we can, I just need to get away and write and nobody bother me and, whatever. That's kind of what this was like yesterday for me, where my mind was starting to think about this physical health goal that I have every day. And I had nothing else to do. I had nothing else to do for, these hours that we're getting to our destination and these hours we're getting home. There was nothing else to do but be in my thoughts. And so I could choose to be in my thoughts with to-do list tasks. What do I need to do? What I did is I wrote scenes in my mind, and I actually even thought I should get like a headset where I can talk and record. I could just talk to myself and just talk out scenes and record them into my phone. That would be incredible. I should do that. But I talked out or thought out some scenes. I kind of mentally wrote some scenes for a couple of the books I'm working on, and a short story that I'm working on for an anthology that I publish every June. And I worked through some of the fuckery that's going on in my life, some of the trauma of this last year, just kind of working through some stuff. I imagined some things, and I thought, I track every calorie, every step, every workout. I'm at the gym, like, okay, wait a minute, elliptical, stop that, go to weight training, go to core, I did some yoga. Like, I track all of that. Maybe you do too. Are we tracking those things that are for our mental health as well? Those quiet moments, those moments that maybe aren't quiet, that are filled with joy and laughter. There was another group of friends who got together yesterday for a cornhole tournament and whiskey, which is awesome. One of my favorite things. And I almost went to that and then chose to be with my girlfriend and her writing group. And either one would have had the same effect on me and my mental health, that mental break from life, to just gather with friends and, throw corn bags into a wooden board with a hole in it and drink whiskey. That's that same disconnect, a bicycle ride that's not all about getting your heart rate up and tracking your miles. And, maybe it's just a scenic ride through the neighborhood where you just don't care how much distance you've gone, or how fast your heart rate went up, or, how many spins you got. Maybe it's just to stop and pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood. So that's what yesterday was really about for me, outside of the community and the camaraderie and it's just the joy and gratitude of belonging, which I talked about last week, and of course being with my incredible partner all day. So as we dive into Maslow's hierarchy of needs this week together, I challenge you to start thinking about the things that you pay attention to and the things that you track, and start noticing when those mental health moments mean something. And when you take the time, you get up and you take the time to go to the gym every day, are you also taking the time for that mental piece as well? And it could be anything. It could be not bringing your phone to the dinner table. It could be family game night. I try to do that with my kids at least once a week. And it's not about playing games. It's about talking and laughing and connecting. And oh, by the way, how was your week? What's going on? What would you like to do this weekend? How are you spending your time? And sometimes it's just about laughing and just letting go over cards or board games or puzzles. So take note of those moments when they come and track them. Track them just like you track every step and every calorie you burn and every workout you do. Track them because they matter to your mental health as well. And they are also building blocks in this pyramid of needs as you build yourself or rebuild yourself wherever you are. Keep living inside the vulnerable. Everybody take care, and I will see you tomorrow.